Have you ever just wished that building wealth and, being financially responsible could feel easy, effortless even? What if I told you there's a proven psychological trick to make saving money and making smart choices the simple default option? Well, let's dive into exactly how that works.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Have you ever set up an automatic transfer to your savings account for the day you get paid? Or maybe you've used one of those apps that rounds up your coffee purchase to the nearest dollar and squirrels away the change for you. Just think about it for a second.
If you answered yes to any of that, then hey, congratulations. You have already been using a super powerful idea from behavioral economics. Yeah, whether you even knew it or not, you've been using what's called nudge theory. Okay, so what in the world is the secret ingredient to building better financial habits? Let's break down what nudge theory really is. It's all about the science of making these tiny but incredibly powerful changes. Right, so at its core, nudge theory is not about forcing you to do anything. It's about subtly changing the environment around you, what the experts call your choice architecture, to make the better decision the easier one. You still have total freedom of choice, but the healthy or the wealthy option, it's just made way more appealing. It's the path of least resistance. And listen, this is not some fly-by-night idea someone cooked up. It was made famous by the Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler and his colleague Cass Sunstein. So we're talking about a concept that is grounded in some serious research about how our brains actually tick. So if you're going to remember one thing, it's this. We are talking about small, simple little tweaks that lead to massive, positive changes in your behavior over the long haul. It's all about working with your own psychology, not fighting against it. Okay, so the theory is great, right? But how do we actually put this thing into action? Let's build your very own financial nudge toolkit. We've got 3 simple strategies you can literally start using today. All right, here's our 3-part game plan. First, we are going to use automation to make all the good choices happen by default. Then, we're going to simplify everything to fight that feeling of being overwhelmed. And finally, we'll add just a little bit of friction to gently stop ourselves from overspending. You ready? Let's do it. First up, and this is arguably the most powerful nudge of them all, automation. The principle here is just beautiful in its simplicity. You make one good decision just once, and then the system takes over and does all the heavy lifting for you, week after week, month after month. So for example, you can set up that automatic transfer to your savings on the day you get paid. That way you save before you can even think about spending it. You can automate your investments. It's a strategy called dollar cost averaging. And this one's huge. Enroll in your company's retirement plan and make sure you get the full employer match. I mean, come on, that is literally free money that you are nudging yourself to accept. All right, next up, let's talk about simplifying. Our brains are basically wired to avoid complexity. When we're faced with way too many options, we just get overwhelmed. And what happens then? We either make a bad choice or we make no choice at all. It's a real thing called decision fatigue. Think about it. Trying to juggle 5 different credit cards and 6 bank accounts, it just creates mental chaos, right? It leads to confusion, and it makes it way too easy to overspend. But what if you cut down your options to just a few really good ones? Suddenly, you have clarity, you have focus, and you get that awesome feeling of being in control. So, how do you actually do this? Well, the source suggests you limit the number of credit cards you're actively using. Maybe just one main card for your daily stuff and another one for backup. And the same thing goes for bank accounts. Do you really need 4 different checking accounts? Probably not. Simplify it down to what's actually essential. And that brings us to our final strategy, controlling temptation. Now, this is not about having superhuman willpower. It's about intelligently designing your environment to make that impulsive spending just a little bit harder. You're basically creating a tiny bit of friction, a small hurdle between you and a bad decision. Here are some fantastic, really actionable nudges. Go into your Amazon account right now and delete your saved credit card. Turn off that one-click purchase button. Honestly, that tiny little action of having to get up, find your wallet, and type in the numbers can be just enough to make you stop and think, do I really need this? And here's another one. Set a calendar reminder to check your monthly subscriptions. That gym you haven't been to in 6 months? Yeah, it's time to nudge yourself to cancel it. So at the end of the day, why does any of this matter? It matters because these tiny, almost invisible adjustments, automating, simplifying, adding a little friction, they all compound over time into a completely different financial future. This is how you build real wealth without feeling like you're sacrificing every single day. The source material really just says it perfectly. Nudges might seem effortless, almost invisible, but their impact on your behavior is powerful and it is long term. You won't even notice them day to day, but I promise you in 5, 10, or 20 years, the effect on your bank account will be anything but invisible. So I'm going to leave you with this question. What is the one small, simple nudge that you are going to set up for yourself today? Are you going to automate that savings transfer? Are you going to delete your card from a shopping site? Just pick one. Do it right now and start your journey to effortless financial success. Thanks for tuning in.